Hi there guys, it's Pip here from pipweekly.com. It's great to see you again. I know I've taken some time off, so that must have been a bit of a shock for you because obviously we've been doing a video every day. For those of you who are just seeing and meeting me for the first time, welcome, it's lovely to see you here. And today I just want to talk about self-discovery. So as I say, I have taken some time off from these videos and I have thought about going back to them, and I just want to really share my journey about what has happened, because there's been a massive self-discovery, and you might feel like maybe you need some time to discover who you are. There's a lot of people out there who are living every day and not really sure why they're doing what they're doing, and I guess that's where I was. So 2 months ago I was a cleaner, and I worked for a very big national organisation. Worked in a beautiful garden environment, 88-acre garden. But I was a cleaner. I was cleaning the bathrooms, public bathrooms and staff areas. And about a year before that I'd set up my own business because I wanted more out of life and I didn't want to repeat the kind of mistakes that my dad made. My dad died 2 years ago, and when he died I really realised that he hadn't been happy and he didn't live life to his full potential. My dad was really good at quite a number of things, but I don't think he felt that way in his life, and I think that, I don't know, I think he just struggled to know who he was, and it left him down a road that wasn't supported, and where he didn't live his best life or his happiest life. So in February, after asking for a lot of development for a long time and not getting anywhere, and then realising that I wasn't going to get anywhere, I left my job, and I wanted really to step into a different job that would be less manual and would give me more time and space to do, and energy really, to do my other online affiliate marketing job. So I started an eBay business, and I'm just going to show you at the moment. I don't know if you can see that over there. So those are some of the things at the bottom of my bed. Look a bit higgledy-piggledy at the moment, just the coats on top. Not quite folded them properly, but the rest of it is folded away. And so I started an eBay business selling clothes, and I thought this is going to be great. One of my best mates did it, and she showed me over the Christmas holidays, because when I left work it was February. I thought this is going to be fantastic, and she makes a living out of it, and she does alright. She was on the same wage that I was as a cleaner, and I thought this is fantastic and I'm going to make it, and it just really didn't pick up. I'm not really sure why. It could be for several reasons. Starting to pick up now, ironically, but not. I quickly realised within a month easily that it wouldn't have the stability that I wanted. So then I was waking up one morning, and I've been always taught to listen to something motivational first thing in the morning. And so I listened to something on YouTube, and there was this ad by a guy called Alex Becker, who I now know is a millionaire basically, to do dropshipping, and he was like, oh, this is really good, and well, he didn't say that exactly, but basically dropshipping is, rather than having physical products, so rather than having clothes where I'd have kind of the money in the stock and it isn't shifting, dropshipping is something where you have an online store basically, and you when a customer buys a product, that's when you order it from the supplier, so you're not investing in sitting stock basically, and obviously it means that you have more space. So I thought, oh, that's wonderful. Went through all the modules really quickly, was really on fire with it, got to Facebook advertising and lost my nerve basically. And then I had a bit of a dilemma, and you might have had this dilemma too, where I basically went, this has been given to me on a plate, people are making a lot of money from this, people are making a living and lifestyle out of this, why am I not able to do it? why don't I feel I want to do it? Where is my life going? What do I really want? And quite honestly, at that point, I didn't know. I was getting quite desperate, because it had been a month and a half I wasn't bringing in any income. Obviously we all have bills to pay, and I'd had a bit of a struggle with a friend as well, who now owes me quite a lot of money. I've had to forego a lot of money to help her out. She owes a lot of money back, but she's not able to give it me back at this moment in time. It's going to take a long time to give back, just because of her circumstances and other things. So I was really panicking. Got a job in a cafe where I'm at the moment, and started applying for jobs to do with charity. I had a real bad moment of panic actually, where I was doing the Facebook ads and panicking and nothing was converting, and I really was panicking, and I kind of went, and this is going to sound really crazy, because I'm not religious, but I literally stood there and I was like, God, what do I, tell me what to do, or tell me what to do, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? And it's like the answer literally came out of my mouth, which is crazy. I know it sounds crazy. As I say, I'm not actually religious. I've just had a lot of, although I fight it, I've had a lot of coincidences in my life, things that shouldn't have happened, that have happened, that have got me out of trouble, quite quickly, actually, that I don't think my own brain has really come up with, or situations that have arisen where I've been in a lot of sadness, a lot of pain, and something's just come to me, and it's just too many coincidences. So I do believe that there's something out there. Anyway, so that was that, and then this guy Alex Becker, he does a number of different businesses. Anyway, to cut a very long story short, I got an email from him, well, kind of an automated email, you know what it's like, about a different type of business where you do webinars, and I thought that would be so much more up my street, because I like talking to people. I'm actually quite good at talking to people, because I think from the things I've had happen in life, I understand them. And you might feel this too. You might feel that actually the more disappointments you have, the more you understand people. And then another really weird thing that happened at the same time is I was at the library, and I go to libraries a lot, and because it's cheaper than running your computer at home, and it's less. It's good to be around people sometimes, and you can charge your phone whilst you're there as well. You can plug it into their computers and charge it as if you were charging it from your laptop. They let you do that, which is great. So yeah, when you're not in a job and you've not brought any money in for like a month and a half, that's really useful. Thank you, libraries. Anyway, so I was there, and it was Richard Branson's new autobiography kind of looking across at me, and I was like, do I? Because I know it came out at, I think I was looking at it at Christmas. It's a new one. It's Finding My Virginity, by Richard Branson, and I thought, you know what, I am going to read that. I'm going to read that. And I'm not great at reading, guys. I kind of flick through and don't read it properly cover to cover, but it was very interesting. And then I got another ton of books from that part of the library that I never even realised were there before. Like stuff like How to Think Like Steve Jobs, and just books I wouldn't have, like, if you'd have told me that I was picking up these kind of books a year ago, I'd have been like, who's Steve Jobs anyway? I wouldn't have had a clue, really. And I think having discovered with eBay and obviously with this other company, Dropshipping, I discovered that one, I was not a financially aware person at all, and that in business you need that. And secondly, I was really bad at being a risk taker. Alex Becker actually does this wonderful thing, look it up on YouTube. It's called The Death of Alex Becker, and basically it's about how he came out of the army 2011, and he said he was basically drunk and broke, and he kind of, his old self had to die. Definitely watch that. It's about 45 minutes long, but you should watch it. Alex Becker has a very, very straightforward way of talking, by the way, so which kind of like in a weird way. You know, Jim Rohn talks about how his mentor, Mr. Shoaff, was really blunt with him. I need people to be blunt with me. I actually do, so I actually benefited from that. I didn't like what he was saying, always. I didn't like the way he can be so blunt, but I kind of do, because it is actually really helpful. Sometimes you just need somebody to tell you something. So yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind journey. And then I started applying for jobs. I realised that I wanted to do something with my life. As in give something, and that's a massive change for me, because since my dad died I've been really self-focused, and obviously with losing a lot of money to my mate, that's put a lot of panic, and I've been like, oh, me first. You know, I wake up and I'm like, right, today I need to figure out how I'm going to make money, and probably not thinking very long term. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind journey, and I've had some amazing insights. For those of you who are thinking, do I leave my job and start a business? I would say yes, because although if you're like me and you're not used to risk, it's highly likely that you're not going to make it. I have learned so much about I would say, not just the way the business works, I would say the way that business affects you, because there isn't that stable pay per hour. It's about how good can you be in your job, and when you're in an employment role, you obviously, I would hope you try pretty hard, but actually if you have a bad day or you don't know what to do next, you can just ask somebody. When you're self-employed, you can't necessarily do that. So the way you think, it has got to be so totally different. And I'm glad I learned very quickly that I wasn't yet at the right point to do that. I wasn't quite that person yet, but that actually you can become that person, because nobody's born an entrepreneur, which is why I recommend you watch Alex Becker's The Death of Alex Becker. Sounds a bit dramatic, but it was very helpful, and I've had to watch it several times, because it's one thing looking at something like you looking at this video and understanding it. It's a whole other thing implementing it, and I'm not a particularly strong character. I have a major commitment problem, as you can probably tell by not doing these videos for a couple of days, and I've really just learned so much about who I am and who I'm not, and I would honestly, I would so recommend it. I mean, it will put the fear of God in you, but I've learned so much about myself in these past 2 months, and yeah, okay, it means that I've not brought in as much money as I would like to, definitely. Obviously I'm working at a cafe, so there's a bit of stability, which is what I found I actually needed in my life, one of the things I actually valued, with my present mindset anyway, and that it has certainly pushed me in the right direction. I'm so glad that with the online store business, because I couldn't work it out. I was like, well, why would you walk away from something that could make you a whole load of money? You know, surely that's the answer to all your problems. And I read a book by two guys. the professors at, I forget which university in America anyway, it's called life design or designing your life or something like that. And it was like, wow. And it was saying like, your first idea isn't going to be the best, and don't beat yourself up. And I really think it's pushed me towards, definitely in a quite a big way, towards becoming the person that I'm meant to be. And they were talking about how a lot of people do follow a path, and a lot of entrepreneurs say this. I was watching an interview by Tom Bilyeu, Bilye, I think it's A. Bilyeu, yeah, Bilyeu, Bilya, yeah. You might not have ever heard of him. Tom's story is basically he wanted to go into the movie business, and eventually went into kind of diet, because his family, he said that he was slightly chubby at one point, and his family was slightly chubby, and he went from basically searching for coins for petrol in his car, gas if you're in America, down the back of the sofa, to being like or at least a millionaire. But again, he was so very broke, as all these entrepreneurs, if you've listened to their stories, often are. But they were talking about, don't just do it for the money, do it because there's something more than that, and it's fulfillment. And the more I read by all these entrepreneurs, Dean Graziosi and Les Brown and Tony Robbins and Richard Branson, and I was reading something about Steve Jobs, who seems absolutely like nuts, and that's where being nuts got him, I'm going to carry on being exactly as I am, because obviously it worked out. And a book called How to Think Like Bill Gates, which is a whole series, How to Think Like, and they all just say the same thing. They just say, just listen, just don't do it just for the money. And I'm so glad I heard that. So yeah, it's been a massive learning curve. I just wanted to share this with you today because you can obviously benefit from what I've been through, that actually having to go through it yourself. And although I might not have all the answers, as I say, I think this has been for me an amazing journey. Very low points at times, very high points at times. Actually, I can't believe the amount of work I've actually done, but I don't feel like I've done anything. With the HCOM, I literally spent 2 weeks on it, and I've filled a whole A4 book of notes. I've actually done a lot of learning, and it's just been really good. So that's about all from me. I hope you have found this video helpful. I really hope it's encouraged you to not be reckless, because I was quite reckless, I must say. But I hope it has encouraged you to slowly try something new. And I would say, if you have stability but you're looking for something new, try something along with your present job. That would be my advice, because although that seems like the ridiculously slow route, say you want to, set up a restaurant. I was again in this book by the two guys, Stanford University, the guys from that wrote this book, Designing Your Life, and they were talking about this one woman, and she really wanted to. She decided that she'd always wanted to set up an Italian restaurant, and she did, and she was just so miserable, even though it was her passion, because she didn't take the time to even just get a job in a restaurant and just see actually what it was like to begin with. So yeah, that would be my advice. Follow their advice. Don't just jump in. I know a lot of people will tell you, oh, you've got to, just go for it, go in head first. That can actually be quite frightening, let me tell you from personal experience, because unless you can adapt very quickly, and there's a lot of inner turbulence that comes with that, it's going to be difficult. So that's just my advice anyway, and definitely don't judge yourself just on one chapter of your life. You know, if we were, you know, judging, well, I'm going to give a Star Wars example because this is an example that Alex Beckett gives, but he says, oh, you know, if you judge Luke Skywalker on the first film, then you'd see somebody who was young and scared, and, you know, if you judged him on that, then you would miss the whole rest of the series, and you wouldn't realise that by the end he becomes like a master Jedi and saves the universe. And, you know, he said, you know, that would be really stupid to, you know, to effectively give up on something when it's so new and in its beginnings. And he really also said, and I want to pass this on as well, that if you start a business and you fail, you're not an idiot. You're not some fool, you're not some kind of moron. You're somebody who is trying to make their dream happen, and you hit a few bumps along the way, and that's directly from somebody who is a multi-millionaire. And Richard Branson will tell you the same, and a lot of other entrepreneurs will tell you the same, because they've all had businesses where they've been fired, or I mean, Oprah was fired, Les Brown, he was fired twice from the same job as this jockey. He got fired, so he got some people to get his job back, and then he got fired again. Walt Disney went bankrupt 7 times. Yeah, so all these things, and whether you want to start something small things are often the hardest to get started, because we go, oh, you know, I can do it anytime. Don't do that, because I just want to show you this on the wall, and this is the reason why. So this is my chart, and it says, this is an Alex Becker invention, by the way, and it says how much of your life is gone, and these blocks here, if I was to live till 60 like my dad, those blocks are all gone. The state of my life is gone. So don't waste time organising life. Don't waste time worrying. We often scare ourselves to death, and there's something that I think it was Bob Proctor said, maybe I've got that wrong, I'm not sure who said it, but I'll pass it on anyway, and that was, we all procrastinate, some of us just procrastinate less. And the books I'm reading are really inspiring, because they also talk about being a designer, and how a designer is not afraid to build what's called a prototype. So it's like you build something and then you test it, and then you go, right, well, that needs improving, that didn't work, that was improving. It's not just like a one-hit wonder the first time. That really isn't how life works, and I think we're all misled to think that we have to be the one-hit wonder. You know, if you don't do well in your exams like the first time, it's like life is over. If you drop out of college, it's like you can never go back. If you get fired from your job, it's like you're an absolute failure. As I say, Oprah Winfrey, she was a news presenter, newscaster if you're in America, and she got fired because she used to like laugh at happy stories and cry at sad ones, apparently. So, but then again, you know, if that hadn't have happened, we wouldn't have Oprah Winfrey. You know, we wouldn't have these people, and all these people who have done great things have had a lot of failure. So don't think of failure as something really bad. Think of it as pushing you towards the person that you're really meant to be, and making you be stronger. I've certainly learned that my failures, because I have really low emotional resilience, being on your own in a business and feeling like it's not working and really panicking, that has got to build your emotional resilience for sure. And so yeah, I just want to really pass it on. So that's all from me. As I say, I hope this video has been helpful. I hope it's at least been inspiring. And if you do want to reach out for me, I'd love you to just leave a comment below. I've told you to visit my website. That's actually shut down at the moment, because the affiliate marketing business I'm with, I've just stopped that at the minute, because I need to, if it's going to be the right thing for me, it needs to be something that's gives and gives in the right way. Say because of it, that's just what my life has to be about now, because life is so short, and richness is not just financial. It really isn't. It's like, if you're really rich and you're in a job that you hate, you're not rich. You're just miserable with a lot of money. Okay, so and that's also a major thing I want to pass on. All the people that I listen to, all the great millionaires, have all said that actually the thing that matters most is things like being able to see family and take their kids to the park, and that's the things that can't be measured. So get rich, definitely. Pursue money if you want to, but understand that you have to. The best way to do it is, I think, really doing something that you love, and do bother to take the time to find that. I may not know exactly what my thing is right now, but I know that when I find it, it will be a long-term thing, because that will just be the right thing, rather than, oh, I'll do it for a year and put up with it for a year. You don't want to be doing that. So yeah, that's all from me, and I'll see you next time. You take care, guys. Thanks for all your comments, and I'll see you again. Bye now.